I'm making this wee video about a chap I met in England. His name's Kevin Young. You won't mind me saying, because he's on the news about the Medomsly detention centre, how he was abused when he was a child. And I just want to speak about him because he changed my life so much, you know. When I first met him, he's a very, very tall and extremely handsome man. Quite a shocking looking man, like striking, you know. And when he told me that he was, you know, that he'd suffered abuse, I just couldn't get it into my head. But then he was explaining to me that victims who were abused are not allowed to claim compensation because unless it's within 3 years of the abuse. So he took his case to the House of Lords. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but Kevin was an orphan and he was grew up in children's homes and stuff. So to me, how could this child who grew up in children's home without the love of my mummy and daddy take something to the House of Lords, put a suit on after being abused and do that? Kevin overcame so much. He actually had his own antique shop. He had his own security company. He employed people. I mean, this guy is so switched on, it's unbelievable. And he's a wee bit older now, you know, but it's his birthday today. He's a wee bit older now, and I just cannot believe how much he overcame. So when he told me this story, and you know, his story, I was like flabbergasted, but I cannot explain to you. It was like psychologically, like someone had just put a brick the size of a house inside me, and it was like pure grit, determination. You know, here's me. I grew up in a privileged family, you know, always had clean sheets, and you know, okay, I definitely was abused, you know, psychologically, physically, emotionally, but I still knew where I was going to be every night, and I had a regime of, you know, meetings and Bible and preaching and, you know, things like that. So I would say I was definitely much more privileged than him, and here's me crying about my children. And so when Kevin let me see that there is a system out there to deal with these things, it just really, really, and I pray he is protected, you know, and I pray everyone loves him for what he's done, you know, because, you know, if it wasn't for him helping me that way, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing right now, and I wouldn't be able to stand up for my own children and stand up for other children who have been abused. But, you know, the way these children, some children have been brought up, I mean, the guy who held me captive, Pelly, Stephen Arthur Peel, for 3 years, when he told me what happened to him when he was a child, he said his dad would come in drunk at all hours in the morning and tell him, drag him out of his bed and say to him, give us the 10 times table, and he was like half asleep, we have to go, or the 7 times 1 is, no, do it again, like this, you know. Now if you do that to a child, you shatter them, you just completely shatter them, you know. So what I'm saying is, us adults need to be well to be able to bring up the next generation well.